Niko Boskovic, thanks for joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada, where today Democratic voters are going to the polls in what could be a very meaningful vote. And we're glad that you can join us out there where you've been doing some reporting on what's on the minds of some of the voters. What have you found? And if you have any indication of how the vote may go, please share that with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that for these caucuses, kind of all of the eyes on Sanders and Biden, and kind of for the different reasons, I might be honest. Biden has been performing in polls the whole time, but then when it comes to the primaries, when it comes to the caucuses, he underperforms. And then with Sanders, he has really been gaining momentum since New Hampshire here.
And we know that as the Democrats vote, what's really fascinating, and I've covered politics for many years, is that whereas we certainly know that Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee, and in previous presidential election years, we've had a pretty good idea in many instances who's going to be the nominee. This is one of the races that people, I think, on the Democratic side and all sides don't know who the nominee is going to be, which is why Nevada, this, even though it's early on in the process, could be very important today. You have been reporting for the Medill News Service, and of course Medill at Northwestern University up in Chicago. Let's take a look at the report that you had where climate change is one of the big issues that's on the mind of the Democratic voters out there.
As the Nevada caucuses approach, one big issue on the minds of Las Vegas voters is climate change. Studies indicate Las Vegas is the fastest warming city in the nation. Hotter summers in southern Nevada are leading to heat-related illnesses and in some cases death.
You go from air-conditioned house to air-conditioned car to air-conditioned job, and you grocery shop at 2 in the morning.
According to Eric Bandala, an assistant research professor at Desert Research Institute, the city's deadly hot climate is caused by what scientists call the urban island effect.
The radiation from the sun comes to the surface of the air. All these surface will keep the heat. So by the nighttime, when the temperature is supposed to decrease a little bit, then the walls of the building, the pave of the street will start releasing back.
As one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, Las Vegas has been disproportionately affected by the phenomenon. At an Elizabeth Warren debate watch party in Las Vegas, attendees praised the senator for her climate plan.
If we can get her in the White House and get her anti-corruption policies put forward, then we can really start to work on this big global task.
Nearby, Bernie Sanders supporters gathered in front of a van to watch the debate. They too acknowledged the urgency of the issue.
I think a lot of individuals are understanding the urgency, that this is very much a time-sensitive issue. That's something that Bernie Sanders believes in and argues for heavily. This is a movement that involves every single one of us.
Sanders' campaign also organized a town hall event the following day to discuss the issue.
I've looked at all the plans, and Bernie's is really the only one on the scale of the crisis, and it's the only one that will bring people with us.
Senator Bernie Sanders is fighting both to change the environmental climate as it relates to the physical earth, but also the climate by which working class people have to navigate every single day of their lives.
The Nevada caucuses take place February 21st, starting at noon. From Las Vegas, this is Niko Boskovic.
So Niko, there you go. Thanks for the report, and we'll have to see whether climate change is indeed the number one issue, but obviously it is one of the concerns of the Democratic voters. As you were out there and talked to the voters, did they bring up other issues that were one of their primary concerns?
They did. They really did. The big issue that seems to be the issue of the whole primary is healthcare, and we have heard a lot of talk about it during the debates and generally town halls. And it just comes to which candidate has a better plan for the better healthcare system. It's something that voters are generally unsatisfied with. So, for example, the voters of Elizabeth Warren think that the fact that she wants to attack the corruption inside of Washington is a very good first step to get better healthcare for the people who need it, but everyone agrees kind of that it's a huge problem that they want to get sorted out. The question is just how.
And I'll apologize to our viewers. Obviously, when we do these reports over the internet, sometimes the connection isn't as perfect as it should be. But we're going to continue on with Niko here, who is reporting to us live from Las Vegas. Niko, when the vote started, as I understand it, when? Yesterday? Is it like a 24-hour vote, or when does this conclude?
So Nevada, for the first time, had an early vote, which means actually voting started on the 15th for the people who wanted to participate in the early vote. The voting in person or in the caucuses is happening right now. Actually, the first round of votes started just around 20 minutes ago. So I think that soon we'll be able to see the results of Nevada caucuses, and at least the final votes should be coming in, I would say, in about an hour.
And have you heard any polls out there, or had anyone taken polls? Do we know who is the front runner as far as the polls say right now?
So there are some polls which disagree with the others, which, for example, put Sire at the top of the list. But generally, it has been two candidates. It has been Sanders and Biden. And in the most recent polls, Biden has kind of been falling short compared to Sanders, and Sanders is kind of gaining momentum. So according to the polls, it should be either one of them.
Well, it certainly seems when we look at the nation that Bernie Sanders seems to be in the lead, in the driver's seat, so to speak, and everyone has said what a bad first debate Michael Bloomberg had. We'll have to see if he can pick it up. When you were out there talking, did anyone bring up the Bloomberg candidacy, or were they pretty much talking about Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren?
Bloomberg, but only in relation to Warren, and especially Warren supporters thought that she had a very good debate because of how harsh she was towards the New York mayor. In general, I would say that Bloomberg have not invested enough in these early states, including Nevada. So his real momentum we might be able to see with Super Tuesday. Until then, I don't think we're going to see him as a significant factor in the early state voting in primaries in the caucuses.
Well, Niko Boskovic, we appreciate you joining us and for your reporting from Las Vegas, Nevada. We'll have to wait and see how the votes come in. And good luck to you, and we'll hopefully be able to connect with you again in the future and get some other live reports from the field. But until then, we'll say goodbye and update us as you need to. Thanks so much for reporting from Las Vegas.
Thank you.